We are building a new display at Hobbytown Richmond, so we went deep into our personal hobby archives. And if you're not familiar with the Hobbytown Virginia stores, we are owned and operated by 3 generations of hobby enthusiasts, me being the 3rd generation. So we thought it'd be really cool to go dig through our garages and storage units, find some awesome vintage RC stuff like you see behind me, and put it in our front display that you can soon see at Hobbytown Richmond. So we're gonna go through some of it, show you guys what we found and some of our favorite things that you can soon check out right here in store. All right, so we're kicking things off. To me, a Blackfoot, 2 different ones. This box is in a little bit better shape. Some of this stuff's used, some of it's not used. Vintage charger from Hobbico. This one's seen better days. And to me, a Blackfoot. The manual's still in here. It's pretty cool. Check that out. They haven't changed the manuals much. That's taped shut. We'll come to that later. Alright, let's check out the second one here. Oh, check that out. Magnum Force, look at that antenna. Cutting edge. Foam's a little crispy. Oh man, it was left powered on. It's probably not a good sign in here. Oh. Yep, that ain't even gonna come off. Oh, check that out. Woo! People complain about our charger speed now. They don't even know. Another one. Oh man, the screen's off. I'll have to fix that. That's pretty cool. This one's actually in pretty good shape. Those connectors. Oh man, it's even got old school order invoice from Tower Hobbies from, man, this is 1986. That's pretty cool. Virginia Beach, that's where that one went to. Oh, there's a couple more in here. Look at all these old invoices. Old Kyosho invoice, also from 1986, so this is all before my time. This is really cool. And we got an old Schumacher buggy kit. You don't see Schumacher in our stores very often. A little bit more of a race edge brand. It's not even a Schumacher buggy. This looks like some sort of Schumacher body, but almost looks like it's for an RC10. Then you got some match cell battery packs with all the specs on the batteries. That was when we used to build batteries before LiPos were out. Oh, there's the Schumacher body. Oh man, there's parts everywhere. That's pretty cool, uncut Schumacher body. Manual still in here. Schumacher Cougar Z. Advertisement for the old Novak digital peak chargers. Pretty cool. Oh, look at that vintage Team Associated label. That's super cool. Just a bunch of parts for the kit. Let's throw some of this back in. That's pretty cool. These things were awesome. Let's move this chair. So this is when Duratrax had a partnership with IndyCar, and Scott Speed, if I'm remembering correctly, used to drive this car, and they had an awesome partnership, and they used to set up demos at the IndyCar race that came to Richmond. And I don't even think this is in here because I think we have it on display somewhere, so this might just be an empty box. It is an empty box. Oh, look at that. VHS tape included. Oh yes. That was before digital instruction manuals, the old VH tape manual. That is amazing. I'm gonna leave that out. That's pretty cool. And then last on this table is the old Trail Blaster from Kyosho. This is definitely one of their weird ones they came out with. This is basically unbuilt in here. awesome little body. Almost want to build it and put it together and put it on the shelf. Look at how tiny that is. Super cool, brand new, never been built. Look at these wheels. This one might be it's gonna get built and put on the shelf. Let's see if all the stickers and decals are still in there. Oh yeah, look at those Trail Blaster decals. That's awesome. Yeah, this one might be a future getting built vintage project, so we'll leave that here for now. All right, moving on to table 2. All right, so we got an old 10 scale Duratrax GT10 pan car. Oh man, this is actually just a hodgepodge of parts. We got Clodbuster axles. Looks like RC10 shocks, the gold ones. Those are awesome. Those are actually really hard to find. More Clodbuster parts. Oh, that looks like RC10 arms, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty cool. Exhaust pipes, exhaust manifolds. Yeah, more Duratrax competition shocks. Those are awesome. Motor head. So that's just a hodgepodge. Thought it was gonna be an old pan car kit, but just turned into a box of parts. Still pretty cool. We got a vintage Futaba radio box. I wonder if this is the actual one in there. That might be the same radio we were just looking at. This might be empty. Let's see. Oh no, it's in there. Oh man, that's mint. This is one of the most popular radios from the time. This one's brand new too. That's awesome. Had the flip up antenna. You had to do this number too. That way your antenna doesn't break when you're traveling. Got all your different dials. Gave you your battery voltage right there. So you knew if you were about to die, you got your channel 3 right there, cutting edge. So that's killer. Super good condition. Now these were revolutionary back in the day. We used to race these like crazy. I actually got this kit in high school. I don't think it's in there anymore, but I think some of the parts are still in here. Oh, there's part of it. So part of a chassis, hopped up motor. These things were so cool. They made tons of different parts. Some random parts in this box too. Manual still in there. Yeah, they made drift tires on road. We used to race these on carpet and asphalt, and it was a huge class. Oh, the body's still in here too. That's awesome. Beautiful body. Actually, there's a ton of parts in here still. I wonder if this is just an unfinished kit. Looks like it is. That is awesome. Look at all the parts in there still. Brand new tires, tons of wheel options. This was the coolest part. They give you all kinds of different wheel options. Decals are still in there. The servos in there. That's awesome. Same thing. That might be a future vintage build. That is freaking cool. Another of the IndyCar series that was teamed up with Scott Speed. We have an autographed one of these somewhere deep in the archives. We'll have to pull that out for a future video. Oh, also this one must be on display. This was the tiny scale. So they made a 20th scale, I think, and then they made the larger 12th scale or 10th scale. So this is just the vintage Futaba radio in here. Still pretty cool. Now we're moving on to another HPI road car like the Micro RS4 right there. So this is the Pro 3. I think this chassis is actually on display in the front case here at the Richmond store with one of our display bodies. So let's see what's in the box. Oh man, we got a hodgepodge of, I think all these are HPI, different variations of their road car. Belt drive. Yeah, another variation, belt drive. Man, these things have been hacked up and robbed parts and seen better days. But the actual Pro 3 is on display up front in the case. And they even got some old school vintage tires. Those are cool. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh man, the jackpot of vintage radios. Check this thing out. It's even got the strap to hold your hand on tightly that you can adjust. I think this pops open. Yeah, and you get all your dial knobs. Oh man, that foam is rock hard. These are so cool. They should bring back this style with all the new technology. That'd be super cool. Oh yeah, I know everyone misses that. That's awesome. Another one in here. Oh, two of these are so cool. Vintage Novak sticker on there. You get your throttle trim on the fly. This one's got an aftermarket rubber wheel. I think this is where you could put different modules in there. Yeah, depending on what transmitter or what receiver you're running. You could do quick changes on the fly. Before digital crystals. Yeah, all your different trims, expos, that is so cool. All digital, or all analog, nothing digital about it like the new radios. I doubt there's batteries in here, but those are super cool. These will definitely be in the case up front. Got an old Novak Millennium charger. I think this might have been NiCad only. DC charger, had to get an external power supply. Old school Dean's plugs. I used this for many years. And you got the old comm cutter. So when you were rebuilding your brush motors, this was the tool you had to have to get those motors running right, unless you wanted to buy a new motor all the time, which most people didn't. And last but not least in this box, oh man, it's stuck. This could be cool. Old school radio box. Falling apart. Oh my goodness, this is definitely before my time. Check that bad boy out. Power on. Oh no, it's not even gonna flip. Oh, there it goes. Holy smokes. I don't even know how this thing fully functions. Someone could probably school me in this bad boy. But that is a beauty of technology right there. AM system, tons of trims. Looks like it was for a boat. It's got a rudder right there. Unless it was for an aircraft. This could be aircraft. I don't know, it seems like ground. 75 megahertz. That is freaking cool. So we're getting down to the end of table 2. We have a mint condition vintage Mini Z. I wish I knew the year of this. Old school, looks like a Jaguar body? No, BMW Z8 body. This thing's brand new. I don't think this box has even ever been opened. You can see all the aging on the white plastic. Mini Z's also, you can see right here, 160 bucks. They haven't changed price, and this thing's probably at least 15 years old. So they haven't changed price in 15 years. That's pretty amazing. You can see the vintage graphics, all the different body styles available. Mini Z's, the concept really hasn't changed, but they have just gotten so much cooler with the body detail and what you can do with them and how durable they are. So this one's brand new. We'll probably just keep this one in the box just like that in that front case. So definitely come check this thing out. Perfectly sealed still. Oh, and then we got a box of some vintage stuff. We got Hobby Bucks. This used to be our reward system. We used to pass these out at events and you would just use them like a coupon in the store. We're pretty cool. Old school Duratrax Piranha chargers. Oh, this box is cool. This is what you used to have back in the day to maintenance all your motors. So tons of different brushes, nuts, capacitors, mounting hardware. So we used to sell all this stuff individually too, which now you just buy a whole new motor for 20 bucks and you're on your way. There's one of those old school brushed motors, rebuildable. Bunch of vintage Futaba receivers. Man, those things are huge compared to what they are now. The old school Tekin ESC. It's awesome. All right, last box on table number 2. Bunch of classic radios. Oh, these are some of mine. So this was one of my first radios where you could have 3 different, there's no way it works, yeah. 3 different vehicles on one. It still uses FM crystals, but you could have the same crystals and store 3 different vehicle memory in here. And it had the tiniest little digital screen known to man. But I used that controller for a long time, probably 10 years at least. These are just some old school Tactic controllers. Yeah, I had 2 of them because I had like 6 different cars. That was my rubber aftermarket wheel right there. Old school Associated. This one's actually not that old. it's probably still 15 years old. This used to come with their Apex line, the ready to run car. TC4, super popular. All the battery trays. Oh man, then we got an old school Dayton motor dyno. That's pretty freaking cool. So you could test out your load and amp output and all your brush motors to make sure that you're putting the best brush motor, because sometimes you get a dud, sometimes you get a rocket ship of a brush motor. So we used to have cases and cases of brush motors, and brushless really changed that game. You don't have to have 40,000 motors in your box anymore. You just have one brushless motor and you know it's gonna compete. So that's table 2, some really cool stuff. Moving on to the last table. Last table looks like it's gonna be just mostly parts boxes, but there's some cool stuff in here. Some old school OS parts, big manifold. Motor's probably in here somewhere. This one also feels like a manifold. Yeah, 2 manifolds in there. That's pretty cool. Old school tachometer. Check that out. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, just a ton of manifolds, some engines. Most of these are airplane parts. Yeah, a couple engines in these bags. Man, that's a tiny little engine. Check that bad boy out. That's awesome. OS 10. That thing is tiny and cool. I wonder what's in this box. Looks like just a bunch of hardware. Oh, just a bunch of like magnets and box hardware. Props. There's even a little mini model kit in here. That's pretty cool. 250. I don't know if we don't even have any of this small anymore. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's see what's in this box. This is a super cool. This is my granddad's, one of his pit boxes. So this thing's got to be 40 plus years old. All the vintage racing stickers on there. Holy servos! Look at all those. This analog. They still make these same servos too, so you know they were good. The 3003 servos. Bunch of different Futaba analog servos. Nice vintage voltmeter. Could still come in handy. Look at all this packaging. Simple. It was awesome. Fox glow plugs. 325. Glow plugs were, I guess, were never cheap. Old school Futaba straps. Man, that's cool. Super cool. Oh yeah, these old school bulletproof receivers, at least that's what they called them. With the Western. Vintage Traxxas receiver, 27 megahertz. Check out this bad boy. Getting chrome, Tekin trying to stand out with the chrome finish on this 3-channel receiver. That's pretty cool. It's a bunch of electronics in here. Man, we just got a mother load of miscellaneous electronics parts. Looks like a Losi motor plate. Some cool stuff in here. And last box. Oh, this super cool point blank. Oh, this is Trinity co-branded Hobbytown USA. Just NiCad battery or nickel metal hydride, old school battery. And some Traxxas parts. Yeah, old manual for the Traxxas 1.2 and 1.5, their first nitro engines. It's pretty cool. Oh, this box is awesome. We got some old school RC10s with some vintage electronics, even vintage connectors. The quick connect for the motors when you're trying to quickly swap out brush motors. That's super cool. I used to run a bunch of these. I had too many RC10s. There's another one in here. Same thing, this one's got the upgraded RPM, tie rod ends, it's got the gold motor casing. Transmission even still works, so that's cool. Just basic Futaba servos. Oh, then we got an old pan car. I'm not sure which one this is, but yeah, that's also awesome. Brushed motor. These things were hard to drive. Very cool. Oh, and then we got one more vintage Tekin ESC. Pretty cool. Then looks like we got 2 more huge parts bins, so we'll just dig through and see what we got in here. I don't even know what that is. Looks like a starting wand. Some vintage Tamiya part sets. Vintage wheels. Look at the vintage logos on some of these packaging headers. See what else is down in here. Yeah, look at the old school Kyosho. Used to be blue instead of red. That's pretty cool. It's awesome, man. They had all kinds of coloring of logos. Yeah, just a hodgepodge of vintage parts. Check that out. Vintage Traxxas label. That's pretty cool. All right, and then we'll jump to the last bin on our vintage tour. Tons more parts. Looks like we got another motor. Oh, that's a complete one. It's like an aircraft motor. Maybe not. I'm not seasoned in my vintage RC motors. Blade angle finder. That's pretty cool. Measuring the blades for your RC air equipment. Old school tube bender. K&S, still have those in the store, a little bit more sophisticated. Bunch of vintage Losi wheels, still in that awesome coloration, the white / neon yellow. Starter.